Explore some surprising facts about the man who steered the United States through two of its greatest crises, the Great Depression and World War II. 1. Roosevelt was distantly related to both his wife and 11 other presidents. An only child with maternal roots dating back to the Mayflower, Franklin D. Roosevelt spent a privileged childhood in Hyde Park, New York, prior to attending an elite Massachusetts boarding school. He then enrolled in Harvard College, where he began courting another Roosevelt, Anna Eleanor, his fifth cousin once removed, as well as the niece and daughter of his fifth cousin, then President Theodore Roosevelt, whom FDR greatly admired. When the couple married in 1905, Theodore Roosevelt took a break from his White House duties to give Eleanor away in lieu of her deceased father. "Well," Franklin the president purportedly exclaimed at the wedding, "there's nothing like keeping the name in the family." Though Theodore was his closest relative to head the country, FDR claimed to have traced his family tree to 10 other presidents as well, too. He had little love for the law. After Harvard, FDR went on to Columbia Law School, where he promptly flunked contracts and civil procedure and had to make up the classes over the summer. Franklin Roosevelt was not much of a student and nothing of a lawyer afterwards. One professor later recalled, "He didn't appear to have any aptitude for law, and made no effort to overcome that handicap by hard work." In fact, Roosevelt didn't even stick around to get his degree, leaving Columbia in 1907 upon passing the bar exam. Family connections landed him a job at Carter, Ledyard and Milburn, a prestigious New York City firm. But although he had some minor successes there, he never quite took to the profession, preferring instead to talk politics. Luckily, his family connections also brought him into contact with local Democratic leaders, who in 1910 backed his successful campaign for a New York State Senate seat. Roosevelt's star only rose from there. He became Assistant Secretary of the Navy in 1913, a vice presidential candidate in 1920, Governor of New York in 1929, and a presidential candidate in 1932. 3. FDR won all of his presidential elections in landslides. In what came to be called the New Deal coalition, disparate groups such as Southern whites, Catholics, Jews, African Americans, labor union members, and small farmers united to comfortably elect Roosevelt to 4 terms in the White House. During his first presidential race in 1932, with the Great Depression at its height, he defeated unpopular incumbent Herbert Hoover by an electoral vote tally of 472-59. He then vanquished Kansas Governor Alf Landon in 1936, 523 electoral votes to 8, businessman Wendell Willkie in 1940, 449 electoral votes to 82, and New York Governor Thomas Dewey in 1944, 432 electoral votes to 99, winning at least 53.4% of the popular vote each time. Love this article. Get the latest history stories delivered straight to your inbox. Sign me up by submitting your information. You agree to receive emails from History and A+ networks. You can opt out at any time. 4. No president will ever serve longer barring a constitutional change. When George Washington decided in 1796 that 8 years in office was enough, he established an unwritten rule that would stand for nearly a century and a half. A few presidents, including Theodore Roosevelt, tried to buck this precedent, but none succeeded until FDR, who ran for a 3rd term in 1940, largely over concerns about the growing threat from Nazi Germany. In the end, he served in the White House for more than 12 years, a feat his political opponents disparaged as bad for democracy. With Roosevelt's tenure in mind, momentum grew for the 22nd Amendment, ratified in 1951, which declared no person shall be elected president more than twice. 5. His handicap was largely concealed from the public.
Subscribe now.